Welcome back to the Mid-Year YouTube channel. In today's episode, we're going to do a project update on the 67 Camaro RSSS, so be sure to stick around. I had a plan for this week's video to do an unveil on my new acquisition here, but we're having some technical difficulties with the carb. The needle and seat or the float just keep getting stuck, and gas keeps pouring out of the vent here and onto the engine, which is a bad situation. I also noticed this thing does not have a fuel filter anywhere on the line or the little glass sediment bowl. Which I believe most of them, if not all of them, had them in this spot. So we have some junk in the carb and we're having some issues with that, and right now I can't drive it. So I wanted to do a cool little unveil, get some shots of it driving, cruise it around, because this thing is a good runner other than this issue. But I'm gonna have to address that, pull the carb off and have it checked out and just put a fuel filter in it. So I have to pull this line off. I'm probably gonna put a little fuel filter in here, just splice one in, and hopefully next week we'll have it sorted out and I'll be able to actually do a video on this thing. But we're gonna have to just tear into this thing, unfortunately, and have to wait another week to give you guys that video. So in the meantime, maybe we'll do an update on the Camaro. It's been a while since I've done an update on this car, so I figured I'll give you a full update on the progress of the build. If you're not familiar with this car, my dad got this a couple years ago, and it was white with a golden velour interior, gold stripes. The engine was missing and the front end was off, but it was pretty well complete. But this is a factory RSSS. It was originally black with a gold interior, kind of a unique color combination. And I believe the Black Panther car had a very similar setup. So it was kind of an unusual combination, but it had a 350 and a power glide, tilt column, air conditioning, power brakes, power steering, trying to remember what other options it had. It had deluxe interior. It had quite a bit of goodies in it. So the whole goal is basically to return it to stock for the most part, but the engine and transmission are gone, so he's going to take some liberties there. But overall, it's coming together nice. Whenever, I'll give you a full tour. So my dad tore the car apart and had it blasted, and we found some issues. The driver door was really torn up, so I put a new door skin on that. We were able to save the shell of that, which was nice. I had to put in a new partial cowl box down here. It was rotten, so I put a whole new cover on here, and I put the bottom section on there. This door was in okay shape. I put a new outer rocker on it. It has a new roof skin, quarter panel, the quarter panel structure, inner and outer wheelhouse. I put a new center trunk floor in it, which he got that smoothed up and ground up real nice. So this will be finished out with like spackle paint or whatever it had originally, and that'll look real nice. And then I put part of a taillight panel in this area. It was just like kind of smashed up. But overall though, it's in really good shape. It doesn't look like much has changed on it, but he's been doing a ton of body work on this. So first he put it in primer, then he's been doing body work on top of that and getting all the gaps finished up. I believe he's to the final level of filler for right now. So it's all real fine tuning stuff, and all this pretty much is going to be ready for filler primer. It looks like he might have to shoot the underside of the deck lid with some regular primer, but he's getting it pretty well knocked out. Underneath the car, he has the whole floor treated, primed, and painted gloss black, and all that looks really nice. And then we had the rear end rebuilt by our buddy because one of the sides was torn off. One of the leaf spring mounts was ripped off and kind of crappily welded on. So he welded on some new ones for us and fixed the little hole in the tube, the axle tube, and cleaned everything up, put new seals, bearings, all that stuff in it. So that's all freshened up, ready to go. So I believe he's going to put stock brakes on the back of this. Inside, you can see it's all primed up. Again, he went through and treated all of this. This floor pan was in absolutely immaculate shape. This is a really nice car. It was from Arizona, I believe. So all the steel was in really good shape. It hardly had any rust besides a little bit of the trunk pan and that cowl box. Everything else was just crash damage. So that turned out really nice. The door gaps are looking nice here. So it's come a long way. Then in the front, you can see he's got the subframe up under it again. I had all that powder coated, and he went and put new bushings in it, ball joints, all that stuff. So it's in really good shape right now, and he's going to put the steering in it next. And like I said, this was a power steering car, so he has to get the power steering box rebuilt. And it's going to basically be stock up front. It's going to have the stock brakes, but we do have an upgrade here. We have some coilovers up front here from QA1, so those guys will help this thing handle better. He's also going to put a lower profile tire on it with a bigger diameter wheel, so these will be probably 17s if I had to guess. Originally they were 14-inch, so it's really going to step it up. That'll help it handle a lot better. Then for power, originally he was going to put the Misfit engine in it, but then I ended up taking it back for overkill, and now I'm giving it back to him. So he's going to put the Misfit 327, it's a 500 horsepower, 67 Corvette block. Pretty radical engine. Check out the video series on that if you missed that. But that'll be in here with a Tremec TKX behind it. So originally this was a Power Glide car, but you know, got to get rid of that and go to a man's mission in there. So it'll be a nice setup. Next up, once he gets the car back on the ground and the front suspension wrapped up, we'll have to get the fenders out of the attic. They're also primed just like this, but he has to do some last minute, you know, fit up. Some stuff might need tweaked. Got to work on the gaps in the front, get all that stuff lined up, get the cowl area fitting nice, get the hood fitting really nice. So there's still a good bit of stuff to do. The cowl back is in really good shape. The cowl forward now is going to be the fun part, getting all that aligned with the inner fenders and everything jiving. But he's gotten it this far. Once he gets done to that, or once he gets done with that and all the body work caught up to this stage, then she'll be ready for some filler primer and a few rounds of body work, and eventually she'll be ready for some tuxedo black again. So lots of stuff happening with this car, so I'll keep you guys posted. But body work takes time, and he's been putting a lot of time into this. It's just a lot of work to do, and now it's, you know, starting to really look like something. I guess since we're at it, I'll show you what I've been working on here on the Tribute Split. So I've been working on getting this front end to fit. I've just been kind of slowly whittling stuff down to get it to fit, and so far it's looking pretty good. I'm just working on getting the inner fenders fit up in here next, but you guys will have to check in next week for the video on getting this whole thing figured out. Then up on deck next, because this thing's going to be heading home probably in a week or two, we have a 67 Roadster here that will be coming onto the channel next. That's going to a local guy. So I'm just going to make this into a cowl back. So we have the cowl section. Ignore this door skin. I have a nice, decent floor here. I have a rear tub that had a little bit of a fire, so we'll fix that. It's going to become a resto mod, so this center part of the floor doesn't really matter, but I'll put new quarters on it and fix some of the damage, put a nice deck lid on it, and it'll be a pretty nice car pretty quick. So I'm excited about this one. This one doesn't really need a lot of birdcage work, just needs new rockers and the hinge pillars welded on, so that won't be too bad. We'll hopefully get that guy knocked out pretty quick, just because it's going to be a lot of work, but it's not as much work as a coupe. It's not as much work as this car was. So I am tentatively planning on trying to get this entire build done the week of my wedding. So starting Monday to probably Thursday night, I'm planning on thrashing on this thing round the clock to see how much we can get done just because I can, just because I want to catch up in the garage and see. I want to do a build real quick. I want it to be nice, but we're going to do a build, push myself and see how nice of a car we can make in a very short period of time. So that's kind of the plan for that. Definitely stay tuned for that. But this guy's going to be heading home soon. The 68's been kind of just chilling here. Not a lot has happened with it since I updated you last time. I'm still waiting to hear back about the engine. The carburetors have been rebuilt, and that's kind of the big piece of the puzzle is the engine right now. The brake and fuel lines were back ordered for months, but I got those in. So I'm glad I ordered everything ahead of time, but we're just kind of waiting on this stuff to come in. So she's waiting patiently for this guy to come and go, and probably another one or two to come and go by the time this one gets finished up. But we're in a pretty good spot here, so make sure you tune in next week for the video on this guy. Yeah, I'm pretty excited for how this is turning out. This front end seems to be fitting pretty good with some trimming and stuff. But that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you tune in next week to see us put the front end on the Tribute Split. And also, the Camaro's starting to look a lot like the Tribute Split. It's got a lot of black and yellow, and this guy also has a lot of black and yellow. They're looking very similar. So I'm excited to see this thing back on the ground very soon, and I got a lot of work to do. So I'll catch you guys later.